refutation, which is a fancy word that means an argument against, Jacob's point. Jacob, would you like to respond to that point that Mason made? Again, we're responding to the point and not to the person. You could respond to him, but don't be like, Mason, blah, 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 blah. Respond to his point.
Okay. The tracks would have been gone by the night, which is when the park patrol, because of all the other hikers that go throughout the day. And that's how it would have gone. Hikers, paw prints. Hikers, paw prints. And then patrols, no, hikers, paw prints. So if the hiker found the things and knew, go to park ranger, because things, not like other animal paw prints. Because paw prints are not like the other paw prints of the animals. So the hiker went to the thing because he saw the paw prints. She saw the paw prints that weren't like it. So he went to the park ranger and the park ranger called the tracker.
All right.
The hiker went to.
All right, let's wrap it up. That's a good point, though. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Give me a sec. Okay. So, that's a valid point Jacob is reinforcing. He's saying that it's because the hiker was experienced that they were able to notice these tracks at all. Angel?
So, I want to fight against Jacob's point. The tracks, they weren't footprints. It was fur on a branch, on a stump, on a fallen stump. So anyone could have found it. Because nothing had blue fur in a forest. So anybody could have found it, given it to the park ranger, and the park ranger would have called the tracker, which would have made the fox tired, so the fox won't lay down. Because if the tracker didn't make the fox tired, the fox would still be running around in the woods.
All right. Thank you very much. So, that's a valid point that
Pay attention.
it wasn't footprints. He's saying that what the hiker found, anybody could have found. We're going to take one more comment. Jameson.
The fur is even worse than the paw prints because it gets more easily blown away, you know. But if the hiker had to get there when she got there, it could have got blown away or just taken away by something else, you know.
So I'm hearing a bunch of valid arguments on all sides. And that's kind of what makes a conundrum unique. A conundrum is a situation where there is a question that doesn't have like an easy answer. It's not obvious. An argument could be made for different sides. Keep that in mind as I hand out something that we are going to read together. Now, my e-learners, there is a document on Google Classroom that is called Math is All Around Us. I'd like you to open that up, please. If you can print it, I would like you to print the document. If you can't, get yourself a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil and a highlighter, because you're going to need these things while we go through it. Everybody else just needs a pencil and a highlighter as I pass these out.
Also, the traffic had amazing gear. I will agree with that.
Have you read about that before? So this is not, that's pretty cool. Angel's read about this before. This is real world stuff, what I'm about to hand you. This was not created for school.
Uber and Lyft. I've never been to Uber job.
I hope you've never been, I hope you've never been an Uber driver. Do this over here so that everybody can hear me, including our quarantunes. But I want everybody to read along with me while I read this aloud. All right? Eyes on your paper. Excellent. Thank you, e-learners. Uber and Lyft concede they play a role in traffic congestion in the district and other urban areas. About 1 in 15 miles driven in the District of Columbia is in an Uber or Lyft vehicle, according to a study that offers long-sought details of the service's impact on traffic in urban areas. Supporters of the ride-hailing app have long billed them as a way to ease traffic woes by encouraging people to give up their personal vehicles or leave them parked. But company data released this week demonstrates how the firms represent a significant part of the traffic mix. Company officials emphasize that their operations represent just a fraction of overall driving in the Washington region and the other cities that were part of the study, which was conducted by the transportation firm Thayer and Piers and funded by Uber and Lyft. The study also looked at Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle. Uber and Lyft, quote, are likely contributing to an increase in congestion. Chris Panglenam, Uber's head of global policy for public transportation, said in a statement. But, he added, its scale is dwarfed by that of private cars and commercial traffic. The data show that about 7% of the vehicle miles traveled in the district are in Ubers and Lyfts, and the other 93% are other cars and trucks. That 7% includes time the company drivers spend circling while they wait for a fare or driving to pick up passengers. The company's share of the vehicle miles traveled for the entire Washington region was about 2%, according to the study. I am delighted to see these numbers. They're something we've been trying to get our hands on, said Paul Lewis, Vice President of Policy at the Washington-based Eno Center for Transportation. Lewis noted that the figures are for September 2018, and they do not include data on when trips were taken, which can obscure critical parts of the picture. DC streets aren't always congested, right? Lewis said, adding that data showing the amount of miles driven by Uber and Lyft vehicles, quote, during the peak hour is almost more important, end quote. The data from September 28 was selected, researchers said, because September is a representative non-summer month with little holiday activity. Still, the numbers raise important policy questions, Lewis said, about how the firms are drawing riders from transit and about the efficiency of the services, which are posting big losses as they subsidize rides to compete with each other. People are leaving the bus and train networks not only because Uber and Lyft are cheap, but because the transit service they're providing is not great, Lewis said, adding that levies on the ride-hailing services can be directed at improving traffic flow for other city residents through initiatives such as express bus lanes. 1 second, guys. All right, where did I leave off? Adding that levies on the ride-hailing services can be directed at improving traffic flow for other city residents through initiatives such as express bus lanes. Jeff Merudian, director of the District Department of Transportation, said the study highlights the importance of our efforts to innovate using data and technology to reduce congestion and improve safety at the curbside. The city has taken steps to, quote, create dedicated pickup and drop-off areas for ride-hailing vehicles, end quote, he said, and embraced scooter and bike share efforts, among other initiatives. The data show that of the Uber and Lyft miles driven in the district, 19% are downtown and 81% are in the rest of the city. A lot of information, huh?
Yep.
See, some of you have little head spinny looks on your faces. Well, that's okay. What's that? Is it a conundrum? Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but that's a fantastic question, Angel.
It was a conundrum of the time itself.
You think it was a conundrum that's been solved?
I have no idea.
Well, that's okay. It's all right to not exactly know well, first off, if it's a conundrum, but What do you think? Since people are asking me the question, let me ask you. Is this a conundrum? All right. Tell you what, there's a whole lot of head spinny data going on here, so let's take another look. Here's what I want you to do. On your copy, take your pencil or pen, and I want you to circle anything that has to do with math. All right? Take your copy, and I'm going to give you some time to do this. Circle anything that has to do with math. Seat with me and join me in looking at your paper. Papers up, please. All right, I want to see circles. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Put your papers down. Who wants to share with me something that they circled that has to do with math? Caitlin.
In the first paragraph, I circled the first sentence about 1 in 15 miles driven.
About 1 in 15 miles driven. Good. What is that, Caitlin, when you see something that says 1 in 15 or 1 out of 15?
Well, it's a fraction.
It could be a fraction. That's right. What else could it be? Colton, do you know?
It's a percentage.
No, 1 in 15 is not a percentage, although we will be touching base with those as well. Angel?
That's another one.
Well, I'm still answering the first question. What is 1 in 15? Brooklyn? Well, that again, it could be, you can say that 1 in 15 is a fraction. But in this case, we're looking at, it's a different form of data.
A ratio?
It's a ratio. Thank you, Kayliana. That's a ratio of 1 to 15. That sounds like that's going to be interesting. I bet we'll use that again. Who found something else? Angel.
I took a look. It says the data shows the Uber and Lyft miles driven in the district. 19% are downtown and 80% are in the western city.
Ooh, 19% is downtown. This is in paragraph 11, which is the last paragraph. Remember, when we are doing a close read like this, we are numbering our paragraphs.
You did the timeline.
What is that?
Number the paragraphs.
Yeah. Oh, that's the time. Yes, that's what I was saying. When we're doing a close read, we are numbering the paragraphs. Some of you already did that. Mrs. Cameron will be so happy to hear that.
Mr. Brown.
Oh, Mr. Brown, excuse me, will be so happy to hear that. Both of them will be. Mrs. Cameron, because she used to be with you guys, and Mr. Brown, because he is now. I'm glad to hear that and see that from you. So what else have we circled? What else has to do with math? There's so much. Colton.
In paragraph 5, I circled the data. The data show that about 7% of the vehicle miles traveled in the district are in Ubers and Lyfts, and the other 93% are other cars.
Very good. The data show that about 7% of the vehicle miles traveled are Uber, Lyft, and the 93% are other cars. Fantastic data. Kayliana, what have you got?
On paragraph 2, I circled the last sentence. The company data releases which demonstrate auto firms represent a significant part of the traffic mix.
Wonderful. Now, I love the fact that you circled a math comment that doesn't have any numbers in it. What was the math word that really stuck out to you that made you circle that?
Data.
Data! Yes! Because we've been talking about statistics. We've been working with data sets. Data is part of math. Thank you. Fantastic catch. What else have we got? Caitlin.
I circled in paragraph 5 all of the percentages. I circled 7%, 7% again, 93%, and 2%.
7%, 93%, and and 2%, all in paragraph 5. That's excellent. What else, Angel?
I circled the first sentence of paragraph 3 says, company officials emphasize that their operations result in a fraction of overall revenue in the Washington region and the other cities that were part of the study.
Excellent. So that sentence, this is the big sentence that starts paragraph 3. Also a math sentence that doesn't have any numbers in it. So what tipped you off that it's a math sentence, Angel? Fraction.
And operations is a math word.
Yeah, operations is also a math word. Anybody else? There's so much document left. Caitlin, thank you so much for all of your answering, but I'm looking for people that haven't given me an answer yet. And I would love to have volunteers, but if I don't have volunteers, I do have a randomizer that I can use, that I can just ignore people that come up that have already answered. So I would love it if somebody that I haven't spoken to recently would volunteer themselves for this. Anybody before I start picking? Okay, let's take a look at our randomizer. Not Caitlin, she's answered me a bunch of times. Katya. Did you circle anything else other than what we've already said? Tell me which one you circled. Let me come to you so you don't have to shout. Ooh, interesting. I like that. Do you want to say it or do you want me to read it for you? Go ahead and say it, Katya. We believe in you. The last sentence in paragraph 4 she's saying. And what does that say? Its scale is dwarfed by that of private cars and commercial traffic. That's fantastic. So let's go over some of these terms that we've discussed, shall we? Let's make a list of math terms. Let's get them up on the board. I would recommend writing it on the back of your pages. Who wants to start me off with the math term that we've used? Colton. Data. Fantastic. That was Kayliana's. It was a good one. Matthew. Fractions. Good. It was a fraction. Caitlin. Percent. Fantastic. What else? Colton. Scale.
Good one.
Yeah, that's a fantastic term. That was Katya's catch. Fantastic job, Katya. Ashana. Say it again. My gosh, you are so quiet. What was it? Study? Okay. Study could be talking about the sample size that we're dealing with, so that is math. So let's put that up on the board as well. Caitlin. About, yes. Why is about a math word? You know, it even has its own mathematics symbol. Does anybody know what the about symbol looks like in math? Oh my gosh, so many people. Kayliana, come here. I want to give you a different dry erase marker and put the about symbol next to the word. There we go. So it looks kind of like a wavy, curvy equal sign. So that, and I'm gonna. Yours was just a little. Your marker was a little light, so I'm gonna use mine as well. Colton. Operation. Good. What else, Angel?
Losses.
Losses? Excellent. That's a fantastic word. What does losses mean
Maybe like
in terms of mathematical operations?
subtraction.
It's subtraction. Yes, Riley.
Ratio.
Ratio. We don't have ratio yet. Oh my goodness. Fantastic word, Riley Hannah. Now, and that one's all, even though, or it's all over this page, but oftentimes they don't use the word ratio, they just include ratios, and that's fantastic. Colton,
Dwarf.
what's that?
Dwarf.
Dwarf. Dwarf is a math term. What does it mean in this context? What does it mean maybe in terms of an inequality sign, Riley?
Well, no, I wasn't answering that.
Oh, you want to have another word? All right, I'll come back to you. Jameson,
Less than or to take away from.
if something dwarfs the other numbers. Caitlin,
Multiply.
no, not multiply. I'm looking for an inequality. Jacob,
Greater than.
greater than. Dwarf means greater than.
That is weird.
It dwarfs it. What it means, and I can understand why that's confusing, Jameson, because the word dwarf, what it means is to make something look small. And that's why it's greater than instead of less than. It seems like it would make sense for dwarf to be less than, but you know, when you're sitting down, I dwarf you. That means when you're sitting down, I make you look small.
Oh.
So that means greater than.
Not like a dwarf from like an actual dwarf.
Well, that is the noun for the word dwarf, but its usage in this article is the verb usage. All right, I had Riley P, and then I'll get Caitlin and then Colton. Riley P.
Increase.
Increase. And Riley P, what is the operation that means increase? Add. All right, Caitlin.
I didn't say this one, but I just found the text when I was looking over in the fourth paragraph. It says added.
Oh, in fourth paragraph it says, but he added. Added. I'm not even going to put the sign there. We're sixth graders. We know what added means. Colton. Numbers. The word numbers is in the article. Colton, could you read me that sentence, please, that has the word numbers in it?
I'm delighted to finally see these numbers.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to finally see these numbers. So numbers in this case is a synonym for what word that's already up here. I'm delighted to see these numbers. What is that the same as? Do you know, Mason? No, the word numbers. I'm delighted to see these numbers. What does numbers equal in our case? Angel? You want some help?
I had words.
When we have a list of numbers that we are going to use to take the mean or the median or the mode, what do we call that list of numbers? It's a something set. Something set. Kayliana, do you know?
I was gonna say data.
It is data. So when they say, I'm delighted to see these numbers, what they mean in this case is, thank you for providing me with the data that I want. And they're using that to pull statistics like we do with data sets. Angel, did you find another?
I have two words. I have amount and infinity.
Amount. Oh, there's an N at the end of amount. Amount and improving. Excellent. Mason.
Next.
Mix. Nathan. Express, like a what? Like what do we have when we don't have, when we have some numbers strung together but we don't have an equal sign?
Expression.
An expression, good. So express is a math term. It means to show. Do we still have more? Man, I'm running out of board. Hold on, Nathan, I'll get back to you because you just answered. Riley Hannah. Contributing.
Ooh.
That's a good one. Does anybody know what contribute means in math terms? It could be up on that board. I don't think it is. What does it mean to contribute to something?
Mason, take part in.
To take part in, but what does it mean mathematically? To add. Next time I'll let me call on you because I'm scared of ghosts, and when I hear people who are talking without being called on, it makes me think there's a ghost in the room, and I'm terrified. But yes, ghost, thank you. It means to add. Do we still have more words?
Yes.
My gosh, Ashana. What's that? Miles are a unit of numbers. Miles.
We also had units.
What's that?
We also had units then.
Is it in the article?
I don't know.
Well, I want to know what's in the article. Riley P. Reduce. Do we have reduce?
No. Yeah, we have ratio.
Yeah, we have ratio. We don't have reduce. I'm going to have to make some of my words tinier in a second. And of course, we know to reduce is what operation in math? Fraction. Good. All right, Jacob.
Okay, what?
Mason, we got two more. What?
Share.
Share. That's very good. What does share mean in mathematical terms?
Make you share.
Yes, but what type of mathematical operation is sharing? I have a whole pizza. I am sharing the pizza with two other people.
Fraction.
Well, could be fractions, but in this case, what I'm looking for is Riley? Division. Thank you. When you're sharing, you're dividing something amongst multiple people or multiple things. All right, we're going to take one more math term, and then we've got to move on. Who is the lucky person to get the very last math term? It's going to be Michaela.
Is almost one?
Is almost a math term.
You already have it.
No, we don't. We don't have almost. So almost is a part of an estimation. And estimations are
Yeah, that's fine.
definitely a part of math. So it's going on the board. Is what? Oh my gosh. I said I wasn't going to take more than one more, but that's too good to not put up there. Areas.
The whole thing is learning. I feel like the task.
So, look. All right, hands down. But just take a moment. Let's just take a moment to absorb. Look at all of the math terms we found out of this article. But somebody said one of them really stuck out. What was it, Jacob?
It was data.
It was data. So, when they took this study, they didn't look at every single car to drive around in the Washington, D.C. area. They're not able to do that. They got a sample, a small portion of it, and got data from it. They did a study. They got the numbers that are the data for this study. That means when you take a side in this, there's something backing it up inside the article. There's a reason to take a side in this particular conundrum. Oh, I said it, didn't I?
He said it. He said it.
Oh, I said conundrum. Uh-oh. So, the attribute that was under investigation is expressed in the data that you have in your article. Question, Brooklyn?
No, more.
Another math term?
Yeah, more.
Oh, okay, I said I was done, but that's a good one. All right. I don't know where it's going to go. More.
No, this is just showing how much more there is.
There's one right there. Get it? More?
That's clever. That's very, very clever.
I'll be here all
So-
I'll be here all week.
We don't have grade, what? You look great.
All right. So, hold on. But we are not done. Now, thank you. Now we're going to take one last pass at this article. So turn your papers back over. If you have a highlighter, get your highlighter. If you don't, get a pen or a pencil and you can underline. I'm going to give you a few minutes to highlight or underline words you don't recognize. All right? I want you to underline or highlight new words.
Wait, so in the math terms or like in the...
No. What paragraph is it in?
Paragraph 3 is the third word.
Emphasize. Emphasize means to draw attention to. Great word. Angel.
In paragraph 2, it says supporters of the ride hailing.
Hailing. Hailing means calling. So you're calling a ride to you. You're calling a driver to come pick you up. So ride hailing means ride calling. Mason.
Paragraph 5, they wait for a fare.
Okay, yeah.
F-A-R-E.
They wait for a fare, F-A-R-E. That is a customer. Specifically a customer who's going to pay you to drive them somewhere. Riley P.
Subsidized?
Ooh, that's a fantastic word. I love that one. Where'd you find it?
Paragraph 8.
Paragraph 8, subsidized. Subsidized is when the government pays you. So the government's giving them money for some reason. Cool.
Paragraph 7, obscure.
Obscure.
Another good one.
Obscure. Obscure could be a verb that means to hide, like I'm obscuring this pencil, this marker from your view. Or it could mean hidden or hard to see for some reason. When it's dark out, things are obscure. Michaela,
I don't know how to say it.
what paragraph?
It's in paragraph 8. It's right by subsidized, and it's like it's about like right above it, and two words next to it.
Efficiency.
Efficiency.
Yeah, that.
Efficiency.
That is, I'm trying to think of how to say this. Efficiency is when something works well. So when you're increasing the efficiency of something, you're trying to make it work better with fewer mistakes. Matthew.
Paragraph 1, wrong side. S-O-U.
Sought. Who said it? Angel? A ghost flew through the room and spoke without being called upon. Ghost, Tell me again, but raise your hand first, and maybe if you already have your hand up, raise 2 hands so I know who it was, Ghost. Ghost, what does sought mean?
Like, seek.
It's like the past tense of seek. It means looked for. Okay. Gosh, so many. I'm going to move back this way. Kayliana.
In paragraph 4, congestion.
Congestion.